Hi,
Hello, hello.
Alan and Joel.
Hello.
It's lovely to see your faces.
Oh, it's great to be here.
We were all three rocking out to the beginning, right? I know,
Yep.
right?
The always surprisingly short introduction video.
It's like, oh, I'm not picking my nose or anything, right? It is lovely to see you too. I kind of feel like I'm falling down the rabbit hole. Like, what do I ask? What can I ask? So I'm going to, instead of trying to guess, tell us about what is going on with Cooperative Performance at the Sunstone Studios with this next project.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be here on You've Got a Thing, and thank you to Jamie Lynn for inviting us.
Yeah.
I am so excited to be announcing our upcoming show next week, White Rabbit, Red Rabbit by Nassim Soleimanpour. It's kind of a unique project, like you said. There's no rehearsal. I literally cannot tell the actors much about, if anything, about what they're going to be performing. They literally show up, and we hand them an envelope with the script in it, and it is performed straight through as a cold reading. So it's definitely a different type of show than we're used to performing, especially with Cooperative Performance, where we are so used to sort of giving a longer process because a lot of our work is devised. So it's usually things are workshopped and developed and rehearsed, and then this is an extremely short process for us. And we're so excited to be working both at Sunstone Studios and with Sunstone Studios as our co-producer on the project to bring this show back to Milwaukee again.
That's awesome. Oh my God. Joel, you've been on the board forever and you didn't even get to see the script.
Yeah, no.
How's this make you feel? How's this
Well, I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that you can tell me, you can buy a Christmas present for me and tell me where you hid it in the house, and I won't look there. So I'm really excited for this. And at Cooperative Performance, one of the things that we do is, because it's a cooperative of artists, we have pitch events. And so people come and they pitch ideas. And so Alan brought this project to Cooperative Performance. He wasn't able to be at the pitch event. So what he did is he wrote the pitch up and he put it in a sealed envelope. And I happened to be the one who said, okay, now we're going to talk about the next project. And I walked up and I opened the envelope and I read the pitch. So so I've had a tiny sense of what that experience is like. So it's going to be exciting.
Well, so there was something on the paper.
There was something on the paper. It did, dispense some information for everyone who is gathered there at that event. But yeah, it's going to be. I'm really excited for this. To just experience this and discover it along with the audience. It's.
This is multi-layer performance art. This really is. Everybody is in on the act. Everybody is discovering it. Because, all right, I know you can't say anything, but what can you say? Just sort of the general overall structure of what's going to happen. What is it? White Rabbit, Red Rabbit.
Correct. So what I can say a little bit, because and Joel already knows this much because he presented it at the pitch event some months ago. But so it's by a contemporary Iranian playwright who, at the time of writing this, was forbidden from leaving Iran. He could not leave his home country, and so he wrote this as his way of communicating sort of beyond the borders and around the world. So it's this very interesting conversation that happens that really blurs the line between the author, the performer, and the audience, and how and why they're participating together in this exchange. And I think that's about as much as I can say about the content, if you will. But I am super excited. But because of the format, as you mentioned, so literally we will hand the performer a script. It will be the only time that they are ever allowed to perform the play, because once they have seen it or read it, they can never do it again. So because of that, over the course of the 5, we have Joel performing on the Sunday matinee. But we have 4 other amazing performers in the lineup, each of whom will be performing it for the first time and the only time ever. So I want to give a huge shout out to our amazing lineup of performers who are sort of this wonderful array of talent in Milwaukee. We have somebody who just completed their doctorate. We have somebody who's sort of brand new to town, hasn't done much in the Milwaukee theater scene yet. We have somebody who's, we have a couple of people who have performed at Sunstone Studios before in this season already. We have folks who have worked with Cooperative Performance before, but never as an actor. So it's sort of the full gamut. So on Friday night on March 11th at 7 p.m., we have Samantha Beich. On Saturday, 3/12 at 4 p.m. for the matinee, we have Megan Orcholsky. Saturday night will be at 7 p.m. at King Hang, who was just in Shakespeare in the Park with you guys, Susan, who was also seen earlier this season at Sunstone in Mackers. Joel, who was seen earlier this season in Toil and Trouble at Sunstone, as we talked about, has been involved in Cooperative Performance for quite some time, both as a board member and as a director and as a playwright, but never as a performer. So we're really excited to finally get him on stage with us. And then Sunday, closing out at 5 p.m. is Jackie Belko, who I have not personally worked with, but I'm super excited to. I actually just saw her at the All In Productions general auditions last Monday. I was so excited to call her up. I think it's the fastest turnaround time from an audition to an offer. She was like, I just pulled into my driveway. So.
Right. What is there to say no to? Seriously.
Right. Well, I will admit, we had somebody who came to the open call at Sunstone, and they had indicated on the sheet that, because we were casting for both this and an upcoming playwright development series, and he had indicated for the series, but not. And I was just like, so I'm assuming it's because you know the show, or you've done the show, or you've seen the show. And he just went, no, but it scares the hell out of me. Fair, absolutely fair. Like, this is, a good friend of mine referred to the show as it's a stunt, and it takes a certain amount of, even if you're not rehearsing, it takes a certain amount of context and preparation. Cold reading is not for everyone, and especially cold reading in front of an audience with one shot.
Yeah.
And last but not least, I do want to give a special shout out to our standby performer, Joshua Beich, who also came to our auditions. He is on deck to perform the show if for whatever reason somebody else can't go on. So I just a huge shout out and a thank you for somebody who not only agreed to do a show blind, but with the condition of like, just, how it is. We're still in the middle of navigating the pandemic to endemic transition. So should somebody not be able to go on, or should there be a concern about somebody's health going on, Joshua has very courageously opted to be on deck for every single show and then not see any of the shows just in case.
This is awesome. This is awesome. Joel, this is the first show back for Cooperative, isn't it?
Yeah, well, live, yes.
Live, yeah.
We it's been 2.5 years since we did a live performance. We kept things going during the pandemic. We did some, virtual performances, which were, really cool to explore in that space, in this medium. How do things change? What's better? What do we miss? All that sort of stuff. But it'll be great to be back in front of an audience. It was wonderful last fall. I was able to be, I was in the first Sunstone show, Toil and Trouble, and boy, just to be out there with an audience. I remember the first show that I went to see post-pandemic was out at American Players Theater, and literally they walked out for the curtain speech, and I welled up. It's like, we're here. We're actually doing this again. Yeah. So I'm really, really excited to be part of this.
That's fantastic. So we've got a question from Michelle. Do you see that? Can you see the inquiries? So no spoilers, obviously, but age appropriateness, if you can say.
That's a great question. I would say I would give it a PG-13 rating. It's nothing. Just because I can't share much about the content, except I will put out there we are including a content warning that the show does contain discussion of suicide. So just based on that and sort of the content and context of the script, I would say around a PG-13, which I think is sort of a good medium, because it allows parents to make a decision based on the maturity level of their children.
Yeah, it's funny because I was saying, you answered a question. This is awesome. I was like, all right, you got a thing. I get to talk to you all about this amazingly cool concept. What can I ask? I keep going. I could ask no.
Right. What's the rehearsal process like? There isn't one.
There's no one.
No.
What can you
Next
tell me
question.
about nothing? Okay, let's just talk about Joel.
Oh, I would hate that.
This episode's going to be subtitled "You've Got a Thing We Can't Talk About."
Right.
Like,
Well, my wife asked me, she goes like, what are you going to do to prepare? And I'm like, have brunch. I'm like, other than that, so she was initially thinking that I would open an envelope and there would be like one piece of paper, and then I would have to like create a show over the next hour or whatever. And I said, no, it's a script. I said, there might be some stuff that I have to, but I said, as far as I know, there's a script. And she was actually very happy. She's like, yeah, I love you, but I don't want to see you improv alone on stage for an hour.
Improv chops. You've got improv training. You can do this. Does that actually make you feel kind of better knowing that you can?
But, I would say, like, for me, people talk about like what's scary to them. For me, probably doing an improv scene will get my heart rate going much higher than doing a cold reading.
Sure. Absolutely. So,
I can assure Joel there is a script. And in fact, even though I'm technically not supposed to do this, live here on You've Got a Thing is a preview. I have here Joel's script in front of me.
Alrighty.
It's thick.
So, although it's funny, Joel, you should mention the idea that you pull it out. So he does have another play that we briefly looked at doing called Blank. I kid you not. This is a real thing. In fact, if you go on Amazon and buy the book copy of White Rabbit, Red Rabbit, it's actually two plays. The second play is called Blank, and there is some script to it, but it's much closer to what you described as your nightmare. So I'm glad we're doing this one.
That's cool. Cool. So what else do you guys have happening coming up? I mean, I'm trying to find what plays can you talk about, because this is fascinating, absolutely fascinating with this process. It's like the epitome of theater and performance art, and there's always something. I know, on that first day when you're doing your table read and you're with your cast and you've read it, but there's something amazing that happens. All of a sudden, your character starts to come out, and anything that you had in your mind. So it's like the immediacy. You're going to get to share that with an audience, that you get that kind of feed you get on the table read. How's that?
No background, no table work. Just jump right in. Yeah. One thing I thought about, Alan, is I'm going to ask questions. Is there a rabbit on stage with me? No. But like, so what were you, what were you looking for in the audition process?
Yeah.
How do you? I bribed you, so I know how I got cast.
What?
But I'm just wondering, like, what were you looking
me.
for with everyone else?
It's an interesting process, because I can't give them sides from the script. So what it sort of ended up being was, for at least the open call at Sunstone, what we did was I provided a piece of cold reading that was only tangentially related, in the loosest sense, because it mentioned a rabbit. But so it's interesting to cast something that's so atypical off of sort of a traditional monologue presentation. So really, I think what Amber and I were really looking for was a willingness to play. How much are they buried in the sheet? How do they still interact with a room when they have something that's cold in front of them? And then the rest of it we kind of take on faith. A lot of times when the show is done, and it's been done all around the world. It's been translated into, I think, over 25 languages. There was a run in New York. It's been done by Nathan Lane and a whole bunch of other who
once.
Exactly, once. There's this whole slew of performers that have performed it once. And so a lot of times it's almost stunt casted. And I think for me, it was more about, this is still a story. This is still a conversation. There's no restriction on who you're, we're not casting a stand-in to play the author, sort of. There's no limit on the personal identity of the performer. So it's just like sort of telling any story in theater. I wanted somebody who would embrace the moment and tell the story.
Very cool.
And trust the words to. Just like preparing a character, normally you're taking that time to get into the head and breathe life into this thing. But in this case, you're doing that in this sort of immediate moment. So it's that spark. It's that certain uncertain quality where you just go, let's have fun. So that's what I think the script demands.
Every time, because you've got 6 performances? So Five. Oh,
yep.
5. That's so every time an audience member could go. Are you gonna allow an audience member to go more than once?
Yes. Audience. You can see the show as many times as you want. In fact, I feel kind of guilty because some of the performers who are earlier in the run, if they would like to come back and see it, are welcome to. Yeah. Our Sunday performers are stuck until the end of the run. So.
That's really cool.
I personally saw the show back in, I think, 2015 out in Oconomowoc. There was a run that Marty Goebel and Angela Iannone and I saw Angela perform it, and it was one of those things of like, if I'm going to go see this with anyone, I'm going to go see Angela. But it's also interesting because it had been forever since I'd actually. I saw the show once, so I had a vague memory of the details of it. But sitting down and reading through the script again was really an interesting process. Now that I've flipped to the producer side of it.
Sure, yeah. So if an actor is moved to throw in physicality or get up and do whatever, then they go for it. Can you tell me if there's blocking written into the script? What I have shared very obliquely so far with some people who have asked is the script is very clear about what the script is asking for. All right, that's cool. Okay, all right.
So,
oh my gosh, what else can I ask? I don't know. As an act, are they supposed to wear anything? It doesn't matter.
I sent Alan an email yesterday. I'm like,
and as I told Joel, and there's still emails forthcoming. I have been instructed to send out an email with instructions 48 hours ahead of the performance. So.
All right.
There is more information coming to our performers.
Joel, that's when you find out there's nudity.
No, that's our second show in the co-op season. That's still coming. That's not a joke.
I was about to say, I bet he's not joking.
Right. I can say I went prop shopping the other day. I spent
Joel, there's props. Joel, there's props.
I've spent $25.
Joel, there's cheap props.
I don't know. It's
I posted on
performance,
Facebook the other day.
you know.
I was like, oh, I'm so
Simple.
excited. I went prop shopping for Redacted. So
So was seeing it really the inspiration behind I absolutely have to pitch this, we have to do this, or had you heard about it before? What snagged you about pitching this?
I think it was a combination of even though the show premiered now over a decade ago, I think it still has resonance with things going on in the world today. But also practically the idea of doing it's been over 2 years since we've been able to do an in-person show for Co-op. And so not only did I think, oh, this is sort of the perfect, even though it's been done, it's been it still sort of has that experimental idea that sort of makes it perfect for a co-op show. And just structurally, the idea of like, I don't have to put cast together in a room and do a lengthy rehearsal process. The chance of something, it just seems like the things that are tripping us up getting from table read to opening night have just been, contact, transmission, it's, we're still living with the realities of pandemic endemic. Exactly. So, this was a unique opportunity to do something that had no rehearsal process. There's little chance of losing our ability to put the show up. And have a backup plan in place in case something should arise, that somebody's like, oh, I popped a positive test, or I came into contact for safety, I need to withdraw. It was something that we felt we could perform safely right now.
And for the first time. That is, talk about a feeling you're going to get layered over any kind of an experience. Joel, can you imagine what that's going to feel like to be there?
It's gonna be fun. I'm set to have a good time. I don't really refer to myself as an actor or a singer. I refer to myself more as a performer or an entertainer. And it's like, I'm gonna show up and have a good time, and everyone else is welcome to join me. If not, I'm still gonna have a good time. So it's like I said, I'm excited to discover this along with anyone in the audience who hasn't seen it before, and just see where it goes.
So if Joel performs alone in a theater, is it still acting? Is what you're
Well, and I like the idea that somebody could come to the matinee and be like, I need to see that again. And then we have a show in a few more hours. I just like the idea of somebody sitting in the house and just turning to the next person and be like, you don't even know. You don't even know. You don't even know what's coming. So, it's, and a huge thanks and so much gratitude and support from Sunstone Studios as well. I know we keep saying co-op because Joel and I both sit on the board there, but we've both been working this season with Sunstone Studios, and Amber Regan, who has been my absolute partner and right hand in bringing this to fruition. Because we had actually started talking about it back when we were all working on Toil and Trouble earlier this season. And she had been vaguely aware of the script and was potentially interested in doing it. So it was sort of a meeting of the minds that allowed it to happen. And we're very excited to be in that space. And they've been doing such an amazing job of producing local, strong theater in this really great storefront space on Wells Street, right across from the Rep and right next to China Gourmet. It's this little gem that has really, another theater company was in there before, and it's had a long history of being a performance space, But I really, truly think that there's new magic happening there. And
Mhm.
I've been really, really fortunate to have designed a bunch of shows there already this season. I'm designing another show coming up there in May.
Mhm.
And it's just being welcomed into that organization. Every time I pop in, it feels like home.
Sunstone and Cooperative. There's a big synchronicity right there. Really, truly is. So we're gonna have to wrap up. You've got a thing. Any final thoughts? What's your 5 words to leave everybody with about White Rabbit, Red Rabbit? Other than the
Well,
website.
I've got more than 5, but I've done a lot of cabaret performing, and so I'm really excited about doing it in this space as well, where it's a really small, intimate space where I feel like it's going to be a conversation and a dialogue with the audience. Even I have no idea what it is, but it's like, hey, we're all here in this intimate space, and let's have fun.
Cool, very cool. Yeah. So
I would say I'm gonna pull something that I wrote in the pitch that I made Joel read back in the day. It's a show about connection. It's a show about community. It's about obedience. It's about disobedience. It's absurdist. It's ridiculous. It's surreal, and often funny. So
it sounds like
it's
theater.
A lot of things. It is. It really is.
It sounds like it, which is life. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on You've Got a Thing, which is, I love getting a chance to see what's going on with everybody and what's happening and to see people's faces and stuff like that and feel your passion again. And what a project. So, hey, Jamie Lynn, where are you?
I'm here. Hello. I will just hang out and watch you all be funny, and that's what I'm here for. Thank you all. I know, Susan, you have to go as well because you're all important and stuff and taking care of people and all those things. So, but thank you all for stopping by today, and I wish you all well this weekend with your performances, and it's a very cool idea. And I was just thinking it's like, theater is always known as an ephemeral art. It feels like this is like the ultimate in ephemeralness, particularly because it's different actors and all that. Like you said, you could sit through all of these and experience the thing all in different ways, just where somebody is coming from personally. And that's a very cool thing.
Alan, season pass.
I was going to say, if somebody wants to come see all 5, send us an email. We'll work out a deal.
Yes.
Seriously. Right. I'm actually a little upset. I have a wedding to attend in the middle of the weekend, so I'm gonna see Friday and Sunday, and I'm gonna pop in on Saturday, and then I got to duck out. But it's, I'm actually really upset that I'm not gonna be able to be at every single performance the whole way through. So
weddings are stupid. Skip it.
No, I can't. I'm emceeing the talent show.
Oh, so no, that's a whole other ballgame. All right, so but cooperativeperformance.org and Sunstone Studios MKE .com. And thank you all so much for stopping in today, and we'll check you next time.
Bye. Thank you so much for having us.
Bye. Oh yeah. Oh, good people in this here in Milwaukee here. So just go and see stuff. That's what this program is for. Just go and see stuff. And speaking of stuff, let me show you more stuff that we have going on currently and this next week. We've talked about this past couple weeks now. Capita Productions has their We Are the Drum. This opens, the live shows are coming up this next weekend. As we talked about, you can go to their website and look into virtual programming, which is great for, any type of organization, your community organizations and schools and things like that. Capita is their acronym stands for City at Peace in the Arts, and their whole task they took it upon themselves is to foster multicultural awareness and racial harmony through the medium of community theater. And I've seen performance from some of their artists, and just amazing, just beautiful voices. So you can go to capitaproductions.com to find out more information about that. Renaissance Theater Works is opening actually next week by Anna Ziegler. This is a new like 2017 play. Tom and Amber are college students at Princeton, and they, all the things that come with being at college, and sleep deprivation and partying too much and all the things. What could possibly go wrong, they say. Yeah. It's an exploration of the cultural of sexual content, and really designed for being a complex tale in the Me Too age. You can go to r-t-w.com to check out more information on that. And then also, I heard a little birdie told me that they're going to be doing their season announcement at the end of this month, just in time for their 30th anniversary. So I think they're doing 3:30 for their 30th season. Oh, Friday. Right now, Kids from Wisconsin, I believe that their last weekend for live auditions is this weekend. We have it on our MTA calendar on our website, and you can go to their website too at Kids from Wisconsin, kidsfromwi.org. If you are a singer, a dancer, an instrumentalist, and you're in the age range of 15 to 20, and you just love touring and getting that whole experience, you've never had that experience before, this might be the thing for you. So yeah, again, they've got live auditions this weekend. I'm sure you can reach out to them. Otherwise, I do think they're taking video auditions as well. So that's at the auditions tab at kidsfromwi.org. I always have to mention Imagine MKE, wonderful advocacy organization that is the umbrella for all of the arts in Milwaukee, and they are so kind as to allow us to use their platform known as StreamYard to produce this program, and I am entirely grateful for that. They just did a survey with the Wisconsin Policy Forum, asking artists a ton of input about their lives and how COVID affected them, and all these types of things. If you're an artist, I would highly recommend you go and check out this survey. You can go to their website, and it'll be in their navigation tab. I also suggest and recommend to you if you're an artist, or if you're a patron of the arts, to become more of an advocate for the art that you love. Wisconsin is 49th in state funding, which is abysmal. And the only way that we're going to get that changed is if more people contact their representatives about their love of art. And so, again, go to imaginemke.org for that. Or if you're like, I'm on board with advocacy, go to imaginemke.org/act, and they will give you all the awesome things. Oh, also today at noon, so shortly, if you go to the website, they host a thing, and I think today is the last day for this, where you can talk to David Lee, the CEO of Imagine, and Mac Antigua, who was on this program just a few weeks back to talk about advocacy and this survey. You can go into a Zoom meeting with them, and they will give you some advice on how to talk to your representatives. I did it last week, a couple weeks ago. I don't know, time doesn't exist anymore. And they told me all the things I was doing wrong. don't swear at your rep. Don't wear, short skirt, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They'll teach you all the good things. And so help us out, be an advocate. And then, of course, March is Women's History Month. I'm fairly certain you know a woman. I think, but for maybe a few cases, a woman is responsible for why you are on this planet. So it might be good to just Google Women's History Month, and it's all about commemorating and encouraging the study, observance, and celebration of the vital role of women in American history. There's a little bit of it. We have some women's peoples on the planet. I believe it's just over 50%. I don't know what we're at now. I did not Google that before I came to you all. So that's where we're at. And that's what we've got for today. Again, I thank the folks who were able to stop in today for visiting with us. And I hope to see you next week when we're back with Renaissance Theater Works is going to be with us next week to talk about actually because they open next Friday. And so come back, see us, ask questions live, and we'll hopefully get you some input. And so we'll see you next week on You've Got a thing.